Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought your weight hadn't changed much, yet somehow your waistline kept expanding? That hidden change may be far more important than the number on the scale. Scientists have discovered that one particular type of body fat behaves very differently from the fat just beneath your skin. It surrounds your internal organs, influences hormones, communicates with your immune system, and is associated with many of the chronic conditions that become more common as we age. Here's the surprising part. Many people assume the solution is simply eating less or exercising more. While those habits certainly matter, research over the past 2 decades suggests that specific foods may influence how our bodies regulate metabolism, inflammation, and fat storage. Some foods appear to support the body's natural ability to reduce harmful visceral fat while helping preserve muscle, energy, and long-term health. Today, we're exploring 4 foods backed by scientific research that may help support a healthier metabolism and reduce the accumulation of visceral fat when combined with an overall healthy lifestyle. The 4th food might surprise you because it's probably already sitting in your kitchen. Let's begin. Visceral fat is often called hidden fat because you can't always see it. Unlike the fat under your skin that you can pinch with your fingers, visceral fat wraps around organs like the liver, pancreas, and intestines. In small amounts, it's completely normal. Your body needs some visceral fat for protection. The problem begins when too much accumulates. Research suggests excessive visceral fat is associated with increased inflammation throughout the body. Scientists have observed that this fat tissue releases signaling molecules that may interfere with normal insulin function, influence blood vessel health, and affect how efficiently the body manages energy. This helps explain why 2 people with exactly the same body weight can have dramatically different metabolic health. One person may carry most of their fat beneath the skin, while another stores much more around the organs. The difference isn't always obvious from the outside. However, that's not the most interesting part. Researchers have found that visceral fat is often more metabolically active than subcutaneous fat. In other words, it's constantly communicating with the rest of your body. Think of it less like passive storage and more like an active organ sending chemical messages every single day. Those messages may influence appetite, blood sugar regulation, inflammation, and even cardiovascular health. The encouraging news is that visceral fat also appears to respond relatively well to healthy lifestyle changes. And that brings us to the first food. Food number 1, berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, they're colorful, naturally sweet, and packed with compounds known as polyphenols. For years, scientists believed these pigments simply gave berries their vibrant colors. But researchers later discovered something surprising. Many of these plant compounds interact with the trillions of microbes living inside our digestive system. Your gut microbiome isn't just involved in digestion. Evidence suggests it also plays an important role in metabolism, immune function, inflammation, and even body weight regulation. When beneficial gut bacteria break down berry polyphenols, they produce compounds that researchers believe may support healthier metabolic function. Several studies have found that diets rich in berries are associated with improved markers related to insulin sensitivity and inflammation. That doesn't mean berries magically melt fat. Instead, they may help create an internal environment where the body regulates energy more effectively. Blueberries have received particular attention because they're rich in anthocyanins, the natural pigments responsible for their deep blue color. Anthocyanins have been studied for their potential effects on blood vessel health, glucose metabolism, and oxidative stress. Oxidative stress occurs when unstable molecules gradually damage cells over time. Although this process is a normal part of life, excessive oxidative stress is associated with aging and chronic disease. Foods naturally rich in antioxidants may help support the body's own protective systems. Even more fascinating is what researchers noticed when looking at long-term dietary patterns. People who regularly consume berries as part of an overall healthy eating pattern often show better metabolic health compared with diets low in fruit and vegetables. Of course, lifestyle as a whole matters. Sleep, Physical activity, stress management, and total calorie intake all contribute. But berries continue appearing in study after study as part of eating patterns associated with healthy aging. A practical serving could be a handful added to oatmeal, yogurt, or eaten as a snack. Fresh or frozen both provide nutritional value, making this one of the easiest habits to maintain throughout the year. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. The next food isn't colorful. It isn't sweet. In fact, many people avoid it because they mistakenly believe it's too high in fat. Food number 2, extra virgin olive oil. For decades, dietary fat received a bad reputation. People assumed eating fat automatically meant storing more body fat. Nutrition science has become much more nuanced. Researchers now recognize that different fats behave very differently inside the body. Extra virgin olive oil contains a unique combination of monounsaturated fats and naturally occurring plant compounds known as polyphenols. These compounds appear to help protect the oil from oxidation while also contributing to many of its health-related properties. Scientists studying populations following traditional Mediterranean eating patterns noticed something remarkable. Despite consuming generous amounts of olive oil, these populations often experience lower rates of cardiovascular disease and better overall metabolic health compared with many Western dietary patterns. Researchers wanted to know why. One explanation involves inflammation. Evidence indicates that some compounds in extra virgin olive oil may support normal inflammatory balance within the body. Others appear to influence how blood vessels function and how cells respond to insulin. Even more interesting, healthy fats also contribute to satiety. When meals are satisfying, people often find it easier to avoid excessive snacking later in the day. That may indirectly support maintaining a healthy body composition over time. Another fascinating discovery involves the quality of the olive oil itself. Extra virgin olive oil undergoes minimal processing compared with more refined oils. As a result, it retains significantly higher amounts of naturally occurring polyphenols. Scientists believe these compounds contribute to many of the observed health associations. Not all olive oils contain the same levels. Factors such as olive variety, harvesting methods, storage conditions, and freshness all influence polyphenol content. That's one reason nutrition researchers often emphasize choosing high-quality extra virgin olive oil whenever possible. Simple ways to include it include drizzling it over vegetables, salads, beans, or whole grains instead of relying heavily on highly processed dressings. Small daily habits often become powerful over decades. Yet researchers later discovered something even more intriguing. One particular food appears capable of influencing not only metabolism, but also the hormones that regulate fullness itself. Food number 3, eggs. Eggs have experienced one of the most dramatic reputation changes in nutrition history. For years, they were criticized primarily because they contain cholesterol. Modern research paints a much more balanced picture. For most healthy people, dietary cholesterol has a relatively modest effect on blood cholesterol compared with overall dietary patterns and individual genetics. What makes eggs especially interesting is their nutrient density. Each egg provides high-quality protein along with vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and compounds such as choline. Protein plays a unique role in metabolism. Compared with carbohydrates or fats, digesting protein requires more energy. Scientists call this the thermic effect of food. Protein also helps preserve lean muscle during weight loss. Why does that matter? Because muscle tissue is metabolically active. Maintaining muscle becomes increasingly important after age 40 when natural age-related muscle loss gradually accelerates. Researchers consistently find that adequate protein intake supports healthy aging, mobility, and metabolic health. But researchers later noticed something else. High-protein breakfasts often increase feelings of fullness throughout the morning. People frequently report less hunger before lunch compared with lower protein breakfasts. This doesn't happen because eggs possess magical fat-burning powers. Rather, they may help people naturally regulate appetite and reduce unnecessary calorie intake across the day. Another advantage is versatility. Eggs pair well with vegetables, mushrooms, spinach, tomatoes, peppers, or avocado, creating meals rich in protein and fiber. Fiber slows digestion while protein promotes satiety. Together, they create a combination that many nutrition experts recommend for metabolic health. However, that's not the most surprising discovery. Scientists investigating populations with exceptional longevity repeatedly noticed another dietary habit that appeared again and again. And it wasn't an expensive superfood. It was something people around the world have enjoyed for thousands of years. We'll reveal that food next because its effects reach far beyond body fat alone. The fourth food is one of the simplest, most affordable, and most thoroughly studied foods in nutrition science. Food number four, beans and lentils. For generations, beans and lentils were considered humble pantry staples. Yet today, researchers studying healthy aging continue to return to these foods for one important reason. They provide an exceptional combination of fiber, plant protein, vitamins, minerals, and naturally occurring plant compounds that appear to support long-term metabolic health. What makes them especially interesting is how slowly they are digested. Unlike highly refined carbohydrates that can cause blood sugar to rise rapidly, beans and lentils contain large amounts of soluble and insoluble fiber. This fiber slows digestion, helping the body absorb glucose more gradually. Research suggests that steadier blood sugar levels may support healthier insulin function over time, and insulin plays a central role in how the body stores and uses energy. But researchers later discovered something even more fascinating. The fiber in beans doesn't simply pass through the digestive system unchanged. When beneficial gut bacteria ferment certain types of fiber, they produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids. Scientists believe these molecules may help support the lining of the digestive tract, influence immune function, and contribute to healthy metabolic signaling throughout the body. In other words, every serving may be feeding not only you, but also the beneficial microbes that play an important role in overall health. This helps explain why researchers often focus less on individual nutrients and more on entire dietary patterns. One serving of beans provides far more than protein or fiber alone. It delivers a package of nutrients that work together in ways scientists are still exploring. Another advantage is fullness. Fiber absorbs water and adds volume to meals, while protein contributes to satiety. Together, they may help people naturally feel satisfied for longer after eating. That doesn't guarantee weight loss, but it can make healthy eating patterns easier to maintain over months and years. And consistency is where meaningful change usually happens. Many people spend enormous amounts of money searching for the latest supplement or trendy ingredient while overlooking foods that have been part of traditional diets for centuries. Sometimes the most powerful habits are also the simplest. However, that's only part of the story. Researchers who study populations with exceptional longevity have noticed something that goes beyond any single food. The people who tend to age well don't rely on one miracle ingredient. Instead, they consistently build meals around nutrient-dense whole foods. That realization changes everything. Instead of asking, what food burns fat? A better question becomes, what eating pattern helps my body function at its best? Because visceral fat is rarely the result of one meal. It's usually the product of thousands of small choices accumulated over many years. Fortunately, that also means healthier choices can accumulate in the opposite direction. Let's connect everything we've discussed. Berries provide polyphenols and antioxidants that research suggests may support healthy metabolic function and help reduce oxidative stress. Extra virgin olive oil contributes heart-healthy, monounsaturated fats and naturally occurring plant compounds associated with healthier inflammatory balance and cardiovascular health. Eggs provide high-quality protein and essential nutrients that may support muscle maintenance and appetite regulation. Beans and lentils combine fiber, protein, and minerals in a way that supports healthy digestion, blood sugar regulation, and long-term metabolic health. Notice an important pattern. None of these foods works in isolation. Each supports a different biological system. Some primarily nourish the gut microbiome. Others help promote fullness. Some support muscle preservation. Others contribute to cardiovascular health or healthier inflammatory responses. Together, they create a dietary foundation that works with the body's natural physiology rather than against it. And this is where another common misconception deserves attention. Many people believe losing visceral fat requires eating as little as possible. Research suggests the picture is far more complex. Eating too little protein may contribute to muscle loss. Avoiding healthy fats may reduce meal satisfaction. Skipping fiber-rich foods can make it harder to feel full and support a diverse gut microbiome. Instead of simply reducing food, many nutrition experts encourage improving food quality. Replacing highly processed foods with minimally processed, nutrient-dense options often increases the amount of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and beneficial plant compounds without requiring complicated rules. Another habit consistently appears in scientific research: movement. Diet and physical activity work together. Resistance training helps preserve muscle mass, while regular walking, cycling, swimming, or other forms of aerobic exercise support cardiovascular fitness and energy balance. Scientists have repeatedly observed that combining nutritious eating with regular physical activity produces greater improvements in metabolic health than either approach alone. Sleep matters as well. Many people underestimate how strongly poor sleep influences appetite. Research indicates that insufficient sleep may alter hormones involved in hunger and fullness, making highly processed foods more appealing the next day. Stress is another important factor. Chronic stress can influence eating behavior, physical activity, and hormonal responses that affect body composition over time. None of this means occasional treats are harmful. Healthy living isn't about perfection, it's about patterns. One balanced meal won't transform your health. One indulgent meal won't ruin it either. The body responds to repeated behaviors far more than isolated events. That idea can be incredibly encouraging. Every breakfast is another opportunity. Every grocery trip is another opportunity. Every walk after dinner is another opportunity. Small actions repeated consistently often produce meaningful results that dramatic short-term efforts fail to achieve. Researchers studying healthy aging frequently describe this as the power of cumulative habits. Just as unhealthy habits gradually accumulate over years, healthy habits do the same. Many people never notice the daily changes because they're so small, but months become years, years become decades, and those seemingly ordinary choices begin shaping energy levels, mobility, cardiovascular health, metabolic resilience, and quality of life. Perhaps the most exciting discovery in longevity science is that many of the factors influencing healthy aging remain modifiable. While genetics certainly play a role, lifestyle choices also matter. Scientists estimate that nutrition, physical activity, sleep, stress management, and avoiding smoking collectively have a profound influence on long-term health outcomes. That's empowering. It means your future isn't determined by a single number on the scale. It's influenced by countless decisions that remain within your control. Imagine two people beginning today with similar health. One gradually builds meals around berries, vegetables, legumes, healthy fats, quality protein, whole grains, and regular movement. The other continues relying primarily on highly processed foods, sugary drinks, and a sedentary routine. The difference after 1 week may be almost invisible. After 1 month, still relatively small. But after 10 or 20 years, those paths can look dramatically different. That is the quiet power of consistency. Before we finish, let's recap the 4 foods. Berries provide colorful plant compounds that research suggests support metabolic and vascular health. Extra virgin olive oil offers beneficial fats and polyphenols associated with heart health and healthy inflammatory balance. Eggs deliver complete protein and key nutrients that may help support muscle maintenance and satiety. Beans and lentils provide fiber, plant protein, and prebiotic carbohydrates that nourish both the body and the gut microbiome. These foods are not miracle solutions. They don't erase the importance of exercise, sleep, or overall calorie balance. But when incorporated into a balanced dietary pattern, evidence suggests they may help support healthier metabolism and reduce factors associated with excess visceral fat. That's an important distinction. Good nutrition isn't about chasing quick fixes. It's about creating an internal environment where the body has the resources it needs to function well. The science of longevity continues to evolve, and researchers are learning more every year about the remarkable relationship between food and human health. Yet one message has remained remarkably consistent. The foods we choose every day become the building blocks of tomorrow's health. The decisions we make today may seem small. Choosing berries instead of a sugary snack, drizzling extra virgin olive oil over vegetables, starting the morning with a protein-rich breakfast, adding beans or lentils to dinner. Individually, those choices may feel ordinary, but over years and decades, they have the potential to shape how we age, how we feel, how active we remain, and how well our bodies continue to serve us. That's why understanding the science matters. If you found this video valuable, consider sharing it with someone who wants to age healthier and live with more energy. And if you enjoy evidence-based insights on nutrition, metabolism, and longevity, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos exploring the latest research in healthy aging. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.